Hey, thank you guys for checking in on me. I'm okay, I guess. You know, it happens. Feel like I slipped into some and it just all went the perfect way. I had a bad night. No excuses. It happens. I live by a code, kill or be killed. Today I got killed. This is the game we play. There's wins, there's losses. This is how it goes, you know? Shout out to Rufy. You did your thing, brother. I'd like to see you have success in your future. Obrigado. And shout out to everybody that rocked with me and came through this whole thing, man. I love all you guys. I thank you so much for supporting me through all this. But we're not done, you know? Felt like I just need some more time to get myself back used to being in the cage.
What's going on, guys? So, just a little reaction to King Green, Bobby King Green, whatever it is. I like Bobby Green. I like his style. It's fun, but at some point, you have to start keeping your hands up. At some point, you have to start worrying a little bit more about your fighting style and what you're doing inside the cage than how you dress and how you act and what kind of altercations you get into at the fighter hotels prior to the fights. Okay? Now, there's certain fighters. Let me back up. In fighting, there's first having the it factor, having a social media presence, having things that the fans find enjoyable, fun to watch, things that the fans want to see, having the persona of a star, right? And then number two, of course, is getting in the cage and winning the damn fights. Some fighters have one of the two. Not as many fighters have both. Perfect example is King Green, especially as of late. And then you look at the opposite of King Green. You look at a guy like Magomed Ankalaev. Absolutely boring persona. You know, the guy wins his fights, then basically just retreats back into the mountains of Dagestan for the next 3 or 4 months until his next fight comes up. You barely hear anything from him, right? A guy like Bobby Green, active on social media, getting in altercations in fighter hotels. He's good at getting people to talk about him. He shows up at the pre-fight press conferences literally looking like Tupac's youngest son. Okay? Now, that's all well and good, because all of that means money in your pocket at the end of the day, right? But you can only live that way, and your career can only proceed that way for so long before people start putting you in this category of, yeah, I mean, he's fun outside the cage, but he can't freaking win a fight, and he's losing all his fights. You know, having a good time, looking like Tupac, getting in fights with other fighters in fighter hotels, all of that's well and good when you're winning, right? And of course, you can drop one here or there. You drop one fight, okay, fine. Everybody loses one. And most people, you know, lose one from time to time, right? You drop two, hey, no biggie. You know, you got people like Tony Ferguson that's gone on an 8-fight skid. So if you lose two, no big deal. We still accept you. You know, still be fun, still dress like Tupac, still talk shit to people, still get in fights with the fighters prior to fighting in the fighter hotel. Just do all that. You're fine. But then when you've lost 3 and 4, and you're getting to this point where people are starting to pick against you because you're fun as hell outside of the cage, but they're afraid to watch you get in the cage, because at this point people just feel like you can't beat anybody in the top 15 or anybody in close to the top of the division, right? So at some point, especially being in your upper 30s like King Green, you have to accept that, okay, I only have one component of being an MMA star at this point. I have the persona, I have the dressing like Tupac, I have the confrontation, getting in fights with other guys. All of that sells, okay? All of that equates to this for you at the end of the day. But the UFC requires not only that, but they're also going to require you to win some fights at some point, because the MMA fan base is not stupid anymore, right? The UFC has been in existence for over 30 years at this point. At this point, the fans are more knowledgeable, smarter than they have ever been in regards to the sport, and the fans have a way of keeping the sport and keeping the organization honest, okay? And at some point, no matter how much fun you're having, no matter how good you are in front of the cameras, no matter how you dress, no matter how many fights you get in pre-fight at fighter hotels, the fans are going to keep you honest and talk shit about the UFC for continuing to keep you around when you just can't seem to win a fight against anyone decent, right? And at this point, everything else is all well and good. But King Green, I'm going to call him Bobby because his mama named him Bobby, okay? That's the first place he messed up. Kings don't get beat down like you've been getting beat down, bro. Change it back to Bobby, okay? Take a slice of humble pie, change it back to Bobby, get back to the drawing board, go back to the basics. Even at a guy who's late 30s, you know, you've got the eyes of the MMA world on you. You're fun. You got style. You're witty. You getting fights at fighter hotels. You're fun. You have all the makings of the star, but you're missing one component at this point, and that component is you're not winning fights, bro. So, you know, looking at these shorts of Bobby Green responding in these videos here to his loss, I have a concern for Bobby Green, because I feel like Bobby Green is not taking full accountability, okay, for the fact that he has lost these fights. And, you know, he's saying stuff like, it happens, it's part of the game, this is just part of this shit, thank you all those support me. No, listen, bro, it doesn't have to be part of it. You know, don't get me wrong, the best fighter in the world can lose on any given day, but it's getting to a point with you where, no, it don't just happen. It's not that it just happened. You need to make some changes, bro. And you need to put your hands up, because this is not boxing, this is MMA, and people who have really good long-range weapons are going to make you pay for being in there with your hands down and thinking you're going to win the fight on head movement and pull twos. You're not going to win a fight that way. Not against these top guys, you're not. You know, take off the outfit, take off the persona for a minute. Now listen, you can, in front of the cameras, fine. Put the persona back on, but when you get back in that, when you go back to training, you need to train, to put your hands up and train MMA and train to win some fights, or the UFC is going to get rid of you. It's just the way it is. They're not keeping people these days if they're not winning. That's my thoughts on King Green. Like, subscribe, comment. See you guys on the next one. Peace.